All right. Hello, everybody. I believe I'm live now. And so I'm going to start the show. Hopefully, there'll be some people joining in. But for now, I'm going to jump into the news items that I have for you guys. And then we'll see where it goes from there. So today is March 11th, 2022. And this show is New Music Friday that I do each week. So if you want to join me each and every week, you can stop by. I do a live stream about this time every week if I'm able to. But most weeks I am, and I'm here. So it's kind of my appointment to be here to talk about the latest in the prog world. So it's been a lot of fun. I was nervous to do these live stream type things because, it's putting myself out there, and I'm a bit of a introverted, anxious kind of person, but it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's a great way to put it out there as quickly as possible and to get some immediate feedback and those types of things. So excited. So basically the premise of the show is that I give you the top 5 big prog headlines for the week that I acquired, the things that interested me throughout the week. And then once I get through those items, then I'll look in on the chat, answer any questions that may have been brought up in there, and talk about the channel in general and what's happened lately on the channel and what's coming up. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the channel, and hopefully you're having a good experience. And so that's my hope here, is that everyone's feeling positive and happy and enjoying the music and doing all that they can to bring light to these great artists and musicians that are really doing such great work out there. So thank you guys for joining me. So the first big item on the news today for me is Porcupine Tree announcing their North and South American tour dates and a new single called On the New Day. So Porcupine Tree is one of my personal favorite bands, and it's really exciting that they're coming out with new stuff because they've been basically on hiatus or disbanded for a while. I didn't think Porcupine Tree would return. Steven Wilson is really involved in his solo material stuff, and I thought that was really where his direction was heading for the foreseeable future. But it looks like they're getting together and making this Porcupine Tree album, which is coming out in April. We've heard a single already that came out late last year, Harridan, but this is the second single from the album, and they're announcing additional tour dates. I believe they already have announced UK or European tour dates, if I remember correctly, but this is for North and South America. So that's really exciting that they're coming to these neck of the woods in this area. So I was really excited about that. So in regards to the tour dates, looking through, these are tour dates that are happening in September and October of this year, starting in Toronto, going all across, North America into Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Chicago, kind of hitting these big cities in the U.S. For my interest, they're coming to LA on September 30th at the Greek Theater. So something I'm definitely looking into. No promises as of yet if I'm going to attend that or not, but it would be quite a monumental experience, I'm sure, because it's rare to be able to see this band live. This is kind of a unique opportunity because they haven't been together for so long. So it's kind of fun. And the new single that they released, Of the New Day, from their upcoming album Closure Continuation, is really fantastic. I really love it. It's kind of harkens back to that classic kind of Porcupine Tree ballad that you'd hear on like In Absentia or Dead Wing, but done with a little bit of twist and a little bit of different sections thrown in to kind of keep you guessing, as it were. So they talk about it this way. Of the New Day is a song of rebirth, emerging from darkness. It sounds deceptively simple, a recognizably atypical Porcupine Tree ballad, but one of Porcupine Tree's aims has always been to work up complex musical ideas in a way that sounds natural. In the case of the New Day, the time signature is constantly shifting between bars of regular 4/4 time to 3/4 to 5/4, 6/4, and 11/4, so the song aims to have a constant sense of change and evolution. We hope you enjoy it. So really cool track. I really enjoyed this one and Harridan, so it's probably going to be a really fantastic album coming out later. I don't know why the album releases so far in the future. They're releasing these singles when the album doesn't come out. I believe it doesn't come out till June. So a long wait till that time. But it's fun to get to hear these little pieces and snippets and to get excited for it. So it probably has something to do with the kind of building up the hype and all of that stuff and the logistics of it, and probably also because of the production aspects and like making sure they can produce vinyl, and takes extra long to do those sorts of things. So and they also released their track titles for the album too, so you can look those up online. It looks like it's a cool track list. 7 songs, some upwards of like 8 minutes or so. The final track is almost 10 minutes long, so some kind of cool proggy stuff I'm sure on board there. So should be a good time for those Porcupine Tree fans or Steven Wilson fans, and it should be a cool album and a cool release from those groups of guys. So really excited to check that one out when it comes. Item number 2, headline number 2, Yes announced 50th anniversary celebration tour of Close to the Edge. Basically, Yes, their plans, from what I remember, were to do a tour of Relayer, and everyone was kind of excited that the band was going to do this album of Relayer, play it live, which isn't one that you hear as often. But it seems like they're pivoting away from doing the Relayer tour and instead focusing on Close to the Edge to kind of celebrate its 50th anniversary. Of course, things moved around because of COVID, and touring wasn't quite what it was supposed to be, quite what they expected at least. So, but I think this actually is a good shift for the band, because I think this material will work best with their current lineup. Relayer maybe was a bit ambitious, and they'll probably get around to it anyways. So, but Close to the Edge is, of course, their big classic prog album that everyone adores and is iconic in their catalog. So really important to celebrate it and to really get excited for that. So they've released some UK tour dates. So those are worth checking out if you're in those areas. Their dates starting in June. So that should be an exciting thing to check out if you're interested in this iteration of the group and what they will do live in celebration of Close to the Edge. So just thought that was worth bringing up. Item number 3. So headline number 3 is news about Haken. I talked about Haken not too long ago on a show that they're recording their new album, and that they finished recording their new album, I believe, and are working on it. But they announced today that they have recorded a single for the upcoming album called Nightingale, and they're asking their fans to submit fan art to go along with the single release, single, artwork for the singles. So I thought that was cool that the band is kind of incorporating their fan base and bringing them on board and kind of running this somewhat of a contest to be able to bring new artwork to the band and to contribute to the band in that fashion. But really, to me, the big headline here is just that they're moving towards new music being released. The single sounds like it's going to be available eminently, perhaps, probably a while down the road, but the fact that it's moving in that direction and that they're moving so quickly towards this new music that they're working on is really exciting for me. I don't know when the music will be released. I don't know when the single's coming out, but it'll be fun when it does, because I love Haken. I think they're one of the best modern prog bands out there, and it's been a little while since their last album Virus came out, so I'm always interested to see the progression of where they're going. They have a returning keyboardist. They got rid of Diego, not got rid of, but he unfortunately left the band, and so we got kind of the return of their original keyboardist into the group. So we'll see how that dynamic kind of makes things shift, and if that impacts their sound at all. So they're always kind of morphing and shifting. So if you want to enter that, the deadline is on March 17th. So there's still a bit more time to submit the artwork to that contest. So they've already showcased online some of the artwork that they're getting in. I saw some of that on Facebook early this morning. So the winner receives a Haken prize pack, including but not limited to autographed and non-autographed memorabilia items, and also will receive 2 tickets to a future Haken show of their choosing. So that's really exciting. So, and they're going out on tour pretty soon. So I'm guessing that the idea is to kind of finish up this album and to get that kind of in the works in time for their upcoming tour that they're doing. They might, I'm not sure the dates of the tour. I may be, so I'm not sure about that, but I know the North American version, the leg of it, is coming out a little bit pretty soon, I believe. April, June-ish, if I remember correctly. April, May, June, somewhere in that arena, with Symphony X, kind of a double headlining tour. So you could look up more dates on that. I don't want to stay too focused on that, but there's definitely touring plans in the works, and I'm sure having new material as they're kind of working through these touring plans is probably all built into the process and what they're trying to do and promote. So that's exciting news for Haken, which I love. All right, news item number 4. This is kind of unfortunate news, perhaps. This is Riverside canceling the first half of their U.S. tour, which directly affects me because it was a concert I was planning to attend. They were coming to Pomona to do a show at the Glass House here. And I was really planning to attend that one, and it would be my first time going to that venue and checking it out. I thought it would be a good opportunity. I've seen Riverside. I saw them on the Progressive Nation at Sea Cruise, and they did come to LA, if I remember correctly, once, and I went with my dad, and they were really great then. That was quite a few years ago. Don't remember the exact time of that, but so I was interested to see them upcoming. I thought this was a good way to kind of ease my way. I did see the Neil Morse Band in concert recently in Seattle, but I'm still kind of easing my way back into going to live shows and experiencing that. So I thought this would have been a good entry point, perhaps. But it's unfortunate they had to cancel this first half just due to what they say bureaucratic and logistic reasons beyond their control. So they're canceling their shows in Nashville, Dallas, Austin, Phoenix, Pomona, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Boulder, Colorado, and St. Paul, Minnesota. So unfortunate that they had to cancel those, but luckily they're kind of finding the silver lining here that they were able to save the second half of their North American leg of this tour. So they will still keep to their dates, and I believe they kind of shifted a little bit of things around, maybe added a date. If the good news, they saved their shows from Chicago onwards. They saved the Atlanta date by moving the show to April 16th, and they were added a late last minute show on April 18th in Cleveland. So they were able to kind of find some good silver linings there of how to save certain dates and still be able to go out there and experience, have some North American tour experience here. But unfortunate that they had to cancel so many dates due to, the logistic reasons and whatever else is going on with that. So, it's kind of interesting this year. The touring is a little, tentative, but it's happening. There's a lot of tours going forward and a lot of great concerts. I'm seeing some concert reviews and people talking about their experiences and excited to go back out there. And so maybe the shows are a little more light in attendance, but people are excited to be there and really enthusiastic. And it's really fun to see that coming back and musicians getting back out there and doing what they love. I think that's important. So I've seen reports of Tool in concert and Dream Theater in concert. Of course, the Neil Morse Band's tour went off really well. So things are happening, and there's still probably going to be little blips of this, people changing tours and postponing things. It's probably going to still happen a little bit throughout the first half of this year or so, but hopefully it'll normalize and stabilize, and we'll see a thriving touring scene. So that's really cool. And the last item I wanted to discuss, just because it's a band I've talked quite a bit about recently, is there's a new Jethro Tull book being published in September. It's called Lend Me Your Ears, A Fan History by Richard Houghton, published by This Day in Music Books on September 15th. So it sounds like it's kind of a history of Jethro Tull, mixing fan anecdotes with memories from the band, and other musicians and celebrity admirers kind of giving their opinions and takes from the 50-year history of the band recording and performing. So that could be a cool kind of book with a lot of cool different people involved, featuring contributions from former Tull members Jeffrey Hammond, Dave Pegg, Clive Bunker, Dee Palmer, and Joanne Perry, as well as celebrity fans Penn Jillette, Mark Allman, Steve Harris, Joe Elliott, Steve Lukather, Danny Carey, Brian Josh, TV presenter Lloyd Grossman, Michael Ackerfeld, Tim Bowness, Seth Lakeman, Jacko Jessic, TV snooker commentator John Virgo, novelist Mark Billingham, and Prog editor Jerry Ewing. So quite a lineup of people there who are contributing and giving their thoughts here. So there's definitely versions out there to pre-order. Super Deluxe Edition, limited to 100 copies with a signed, hand-numbered limited edition certificate by Ian Anderson, and a small integral part of a flute played by Ian, priced at £135. So special edition box. Definitely a lot of bonus items included. So, there's a lot going on there. It could be a cool history of the band. And so I wanted to highlight that as kind of a little item here at the end of my list. And that's basically what I've got. So hopefully you appreciated something in that lineup of news items. I felt like it was a little bit of a light week for news, but I think there were some interesting things in there. So definitely worth highlighting. And so thank you guys for hopping on and joining me here. So basically with the channel, this past week I did a review of The Flower Kings by Royal Decree, which was a really great time. I really had fun talking about that album, and really it was really cool to express my thoughts on a band that I just really am in love with. And so I thought their new album was really great. This upcoming week, I'm going to be talking about the new Marillion album, An Hour Before It's Dark. I'm really excited to delve into that one because it's a really cool album that I have some thoughts about. And Marillion's a band that I have a kind of a interesting history with because I've tried to really enjoy them and like them, but I've really struggled with it. For various reasons, and I'll get into that. It's kind of Marillion week, actually, because the Next Gen Reacts, I'll spoil a little bit, is to a Marillion song. So, and once again, maybe it'll bring up some of my conflicted feelings about the band and how I feel, and I want to reiterate for people, I know there's massive Marillion fans in my subscribers and just in the prog community at large. And I really respect and appreciate the band. I know they're incredible at what they do. They're great songwriters, great lyricists, great everything, great players, musicians. So my personal opinions don't have anything to do with like their abilities as a group. I recognize that they're super talented, incredible, and that people really find a lot out of their music. But it's just when it comes to my preferences to what I like in music, sometimes I struggle just slightly with their sound that just doesn't jive with my preferences, but that's kind of shifting a little bit, and I want to get into that a bit with some of these upcoming videos. I'm starting to discover the band a bit better and starting to mature. I think it takes some maturity to really appreciate a lot of their music and to really get into their lyrics and get into the things that they're trying to do and try to ignore the labels and you can't think of them as a traditional prog band anymore because they take lots of other influences and they have a sound that's all their own. So I think that kind of helps me reframe their sound, especially in their later years. So anyways, it's something I'm going to be talking about a lot in the upcoming future. I plan to do a big album rankings for Marillion as well, but that's going to be a few months away because I really want to take time to delve into their catalog. A lot of albums which I haven't heard before and want to give them the time that they deserve. So that'll be coming quite a bit later. In the meantime, I'm going to do a rankings of the Flower Kings album kind of to accompany that Flower Kings review I just did. So those are kinds of some ideas of things that are coming your way soon. I'm going to do a classic albums feature on Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon that I did with Jana. That should be coming in a couple weeks as well. Changing up the format slightly. We'll see how it gets received based on those changes. So those are kind of the things that are coming. And a new music shuffle I'm planning for the end of March to kind of give some recommendations of albums that I've been enjoying that I haven't had time to do a full review on, but feel like they're worth talking about and introducing people to. So hopefully all that's fairly exciting to you guys. And I'm just really glad for my subscribers, for those out there watching. Thankful for all that you guys do. Hopefully you're having a good weekend out there. Don't really see anyone out here in the chat, so I won't have anything to report there, but hopefully there's people watching and enjoying, or at least pulling up this video after the fact and enjoying it. I'm having a little bit of, I'm feeling nervous about my channel a little bit, and if it's stalling a bit and not growing as much as I was hoping, but I'm really grateful for the support I do have, and I'm grateful for those people who really help me and give their commentary and continue to encourage me. I really appreciate that. When I struggle a bit mentally with is it worth doing this? Am I growing enough? Is it worth it? those types of comments really help keep me going and keep me interested in this process. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully you have a great week, and I'll join you guys next week, hopefully with some great, interesting news items. Hopefully you'll look forward to that Marillion review. I'm really excited to put it out there and just have a good time out there. So thank you guys, and I'll hopefully catch you in a future video. Bye, everybody.